Sorry, go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Cooking Connected. My name is Sajwa, and joining me here today are two of our volunteers. We have Chef Jeff, who's been a regular on our channel.
Hello.
And we've also got one of our volunteers, Cassidy, today. She'll be our moderator for today's class. So before we get started with today's class, I do just want to give you guys a brief overview of Cooking Matters. So Cooking Matters is a program Cooking Matters Minnesota is a program that's in collaboration with the University of Minnesota Extension, and it's a 6-week nutrition-based cooking class. So we meet once a week for 2 hours, and in these classes, you'll have a nutrition educator and a chef who will work together to go through a recipe. So following that same format, we're going to do something similar today here on Cooking Connected. We've got our volunteer chef here, Jeff, and I'll be our nutrition educator. And then we have Cassidy here to help us with moderating any comments or chats that you guys send our way. Before we get started, though, with today's recipe, I do want to share our program code for today's survey. Please check the description box of this video as well as the live chat. We'll put that in the chat for you all. And we just really appreciate any of the feedback that you give us. It really helps us continue to do this work and improve as we go. So the program code for this week's episode of Cooking Connected is E101832. And again, that's the program code for this week's episode of Cooking Connected. And today we're going to be doing a baked cinnamon sugar flour tortilla with fresh fruit. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Jeff.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Glad to see you again. So today, yes, here we have I've already prepped up the fresh fruit. And before we actually do this, we always want to start out with washing our hands for the food service environment, which means our kitchens, okay? Our personal kitchens, just like in restaurants and hotels. So anyway, we want to turn on the water, get it as hot as possible that we can stand, rinse off, and then soap up, okay? Soap up, exposed skin, just like that, your wrist, between your fingers, just like this. Get your fingernails, go like that. Do that for 20 seconds. Happy birthday 2 times. And then rinse off thoroughly, and then dry off, okay? It's really important to not wear a lot of jewelry when you're preparing food as well, because those really intricate jewelry, rings, bracelets, things like that can trap food, which will eventually turn into bacteria. It could be harmful bacteria as well. So please take care of any kind of jewelry and bracelets. I've seen so many people wearing bracelets that will get dangled into the food. Long sleeve shirts could get, in there as well. So my chef's coats, I always roll my chef's coats up like mid-length in my arm. So that is really important food safety tip for today. I've already prepared the fruits, and you can use pretty much any kind of fruit. I've got some fresh grapes, some blueberries, kiwi, some strawberries, and I've added some, the cuties. Everyone likes cuties. I've got some green papaya here. And, going to the mercados, they have these fruterias there. And so it's just like, ice cream counter, but they've got there's a bucket of strawberries. There's all different kinds of fruits, the kiwis, the grapes, oranges, melons, things like that, and coconut. So they put it into a cup, whatever fruits that you want, and they will, if you want to, you can sprinkle some lime juice on there, toss it with some some coconut that they have. And what they can also do is sprinkle it with some chili powder. Make it a kind of a zesty flavor. Make it go pow in your mind, okay? So it's waking up your mind. And then you can top it with either some whipped cream, or we're going to top it with some yogurt. And you can use any kind of yogurt, the blueberry, strawberry, or just plain vanilla, or even just Greek yogurt is good for this kind of a dessert. And what's really cool about these is you can hold them in your hand. Okay, it's a tortilla cup. And I'll show you how to make this. Tortilla cup and I put some cinnamon sugar on there and I brushed it with some, I've used today I used some coconut oil. And I'll show you what to do. Put this away.
Now, I know Jeff has just moved away his fruit plate, but I just want you guys to notice all of the colors that he had represented there today. It seems like we're really going to be getting the rainbow with this recipe. And you know, a really great thing you guys can always do is have the kiddos take a moment, look at the different fruits and the different colors that are represented and pick out parts of the rainbow. They can also help with rinsing off your veggies or fruits at any point in time, organizing and doing your mise en place, which we've got done already for this video. There are lots of opportunities to involve your young ones in the kitchen, especially with a good recipe like this.
So what I will do to start off, I've melted some coconut oil. I've got pastry brush. I folded my tortilla in half. Just going to gently go around the rim of the outside for right now on both sides. And then I'll open it up and then gently, just lightly spread out this coconut oil. And it's going to add some really good flavor to this as well. Now you can use a baking spray or some, butter if you want to, but I thought I'd just try this coconut oil because it's, like I said, it's going to add flavor and it's a good fat.
What size tortillas are you using today, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, these are the 6-inch tortillas, okay?
Perfect.
And they're just the regular flour. And you can, this is kind of versatile. You don't have to make a dessert with this at all. I mean, you can make it just for like a salad, or, if you want to put some guacamole in here. You can do the same thing, of course, without the cinnamon sugar. But you need to add some kind of a fat to the tortilla so it makes it more pliable. And so, yeah, just easier to bend. I've seen people do this. You can use this muffin pan if you want to, but you gotta make sure that these are like the half-cup muffin pans. So if I've already tried doing this, and what happens is it kind of crumbles up right here on the corner, and I like to have it spread out so it almost looks like a sombrero kind of a hat, That's what I like.
That's a lot of fun.
Pardon?
I like that. That's a lot of fun.
So what I will do is I will take a 12 by 12 piece of foil and ball it up and then kind of make it flat. Okay, kind of like a drum, just like this right here. And then I will just turn it upside down and then just gently press around it like that. And let it stay like that, okay? And then you continue to do the same thing with the other, how many tortillas, sombreros that you want to make. And then you're gonna put them into a 375-degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, okay? Until they start to become firm. You don't want them too crispy, but you want them firm so that they can hold their shape. And then, like I said, you just bake them off for 8 to 10 minutes and let them cool. So as you can see, I've already made some and prepared the fruit. Just rinse off my hands from that oil and cinnamon sugar. So I'm going to put it here and my fruit here. So I'll take one of these. It makes a cool presentation, I think. So I'll take some of these grapes and just keep changing the colors.
Makes me think of a cornucopia.
Pardon?
Makes me think of a cornucopia.
Yeah. Yes. And then just keep building up the layers. Yeah, it's some of this papaya as well. Couple more strawberries. Blueberry. Oops, I'm gonna add another. That's okay if it falls down. A couple of those guys and some yogurt. I'm going to use this vanilla yogurt. Kind of put it right on top.
Mm.
And I think I'll just sprinkle some coconut on there.
Oh, I
I'm
love
going to try this tangine stuff because it has lime in there. It's going to add some extra flavor, give it some nice color. So anyway, that is a fruit, kind of a tostada that you can eat right away. Great for kids' meals, great for a summer snack for the kids to help out and make. I'm just get a bite of everything. There we go. Sorry. Tastes really good.
Oh, that's a good bite.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go make one right now.
And then you want to just bite the bowl.
Love that.
Mm-mm.
I almost feel like these could be used as like a waffle bowl substitute, right, guys?
Mhm.
Like if you're having ice cream or something, a sundae or something.
Yes.
Oh, that's so awesome and so versatile too.
Yeah.
So you make little salads with these as well. Like guacamole or salsas, put it, add in there some eggs. This is great for like a huevos ranchero. Put some eggs in there and some salsa for breakfast.
Would you still keep that like brown sugar coating that you put around the rim if you were gonna go savory, or would you add, change up the seasonings there?
That's a good question. If I was gonna go savory, I would maybe sprinkle it with chili powder, some Mexican seasoning, taco seasoning, something like that. That's a good idea. Maybe add some of that powdered cheese to it as well.
I could see that.
Anything like that. So that's a really quick, easy dessert to make or snack. And it only took about 10 minutes of prep time, 10 minutes of cook time, and 30 minutes of delicious time.
So if you were to make a bunch of these tortillas ahead of time, would they keep well just like on the countertop covered for how long do you think?
I think they would last about a week. Put them in like a tight fitting container or Ziploc bag, leave them at room temperature. And so, yes, good question. So they'll last about a week, I would think.
Okay, great.
And then, of course, the fresh fruit, you always want to make that as close to service or the time you're going to eat as possible.
Yep.
You want to wash off your fruit as close to the time you're going to eat as possible, because otherwise, when it starts deteriorating. I think I said that right. It starts breaking down. Okay, starts getting mushy, and starts losing some of its color. So when you're going to be using fresh fruit, just wash it off as soon as possible before you're going to eat it. Okay.
Yes.
Plus, if you keep it in there for a long time, water, especially on grapes and like blueberries, water will stay trapped in where the stem is attached and start to become moldy for like berries, and you see that a lot on blueberries and a lot on grapes. That's where the water stays trapped there. So, like I said, wash them as close to service as possible.
Great tips there.
Hmm?
So we did have a quick recipe today, but that's okay, you guys. I've got some nutrition education as always. And today I wanted to talk about cutting back on added sugar. So when you're having less added sugar, that means you have more room for healthy foods, right? Like the fruits that we have today, like the vegetable options that Jeff discussed with this bowl. You're gonna have more options for healthy foods. Added sugar. So what does that mean? Added sugar is sugars that is added to the entire product by the manufacturer during processing. One way to check that out is to look in the nutrition facts panel, and I'm just going to show you guys an example here. Look at your nutrition facts panel right there where it's circled. I have the sugar section circled. Look for that. Now, the nutrition facts panel has changed a little bit since this one right here. This might be a little bit out of date. I believe they now differentiate between sugars, and they'll have another section that says added sugar below, which is really helpful. So you don't have to do too much thought, and you can kind of see the difference between naturally occurring sugars in your food and those that are added in during processing. So natural sugars are kind of like what Jeff is using today. They're coming in things like fruits, like your strawberries, your kiwi, those delicious blueberries. Naturally, they're sweet. Those are great sugars. Those are great to add into your diet. Great way to get that sugar sweet tooth if you have that, to get that fixed. That can be really helpful in that way. But if you're looking at the nutrition facts panel, what you're going to want to do is usually just below the panel, there'll be a section that has the ingredients list. And if you, excuse me, it's a little loud. If you want to spot the added sugars, look in that ingredients list for things like brown sugar, corn sweetener, corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, high fructose corn syrup, inverted sugar, molasses. There are a lot of different names, malt sugar, malt syrups, a lot of different names that they use that can be added sugars. You can always find a more comprehensive list online, but those are just some ideas to check on the ingredients list, which is going to be right below that nutrition facts panel. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. The next thing I did want to quickly talk about is just a few healthy swaps for foods that might have added sugar. So I already talked about this a little bit, but if you're a big dessert person and you really like things like candy and cookies, cake, and ice cream, you can try doing a fruit-based dessert like we did today. This is a perfect example of that, including more fruits like a fruit tart, perhaps banana crumble, fruit salads. Those are all great ways to make sure that you're watching your added sugars, but you're still getting that sweetness that you're looking for just naturally. If you really like sugary cereal or flavored yogurt, try adding fruit to unsweetened cereal or plain yogurt. That's one way to sweeten it up. And again, that's really great. Also, the great thing about the fruits is you're gonna get that fiber, okay? So we want that. There are also a lot of great other things in the fruits, in the skins of our fruits, the seeds of our fruits, lots of different things that you wanna include into your diet that you're gonna get, that you're not gonna get if you're just having regular old table sugar. So keep that in mind. For drinks, if you like a lot of sodas, fruit drinks, sweetened coffee, sweet tea, things like that, you can always try using water and adding fruits to that for more flavor. I also like to recommend seltzer water if you really like that soda pop. That can be very helpful. If you enjoy canned fruits in syrup, or perhaps like a sweetened applesauce, you can always try getting canned fruits in 100% juice or a no added sugar applesauce, or you can try making your own applesauce by, cutting up the apples, removing the cores and the skins and blending it yourself. And then finally, if you're really into like jams and syrups and sweet toppings like that, again, you have the option of using fruits for that too. You can always heat your fruits up on the stove and with a little bit of like perhaps coconut oil, maybe a little light sugar, to kind of help it out and create your own syrups in that way. There are lots of different options for that too. And so those are just some of the things that I wanted to bring up today as far as our sugars. Any other recommendations you would have, Chef Jeff, for ways that we can include fruits in our diet?
Well, I think we've done classes on smoothies, haven't we? Or maybe fruit pizzas. Did you do a fruit pizza as well?
We did.
You made me think about waffles. Putting fruit on waffles is a good one as well. And adding them to. Try the spinach salad with strawberries, and so something like that. Putting some of those fruits on your salads, that strawberries or the blueberries. Those are some of the favorite ones. Some of the oranges, things like that. So all those high fiber fruits added to your salad is going to make you a healthier person.
I love that you added that tip. I always forget about adding fruits to my salads. Another thought I just had was perhaps adding like some nuts too to this dessert that you made would be
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah, because I'm gonna get to our My Plate recap today, you guys. So today we made this delicious dessert option. We've definitely got our fruit in, right? We've got our grains in with our tortilla today that we used. You've got dairy coming in with that yogurt, protein if you were to add in some nuts, but also yogurt if you have a Greek yogurt or some sort, also would have protein in there. So the only thing that you're really going to be missing is your veggies, and they kind of don't have the best role in this meal, but that doesn't mean they can't be added on the side perhaps, or this would be something with lunch. You can perhaps have a sandwich with lots of tasty vegetables on there. So there's lots of ways to make sure that you are getting that full My Plate. But I say just one out of all of these missing, that's doing pretty good, if I do say so. So,
And I would say that sometimes carrots, like shredded carrots, are a good addition to desserts. They seem to be like a sweeter vegetable, and you can have like carrot cake. And I've put shredded carrots in like oatmeal before with other sweet things added to it. So that's always an option too. Sometimes that's a good way to get vegetables into a sweeter sort of dessert or a snack item.
And I think beets too.
I was just gonna say that, yes.
We're thinking alike.
I love the carrot idea, Cassidy. I actually haven't thought about that. I always forget about that. The carrots do kind of have that sweet ring to them, and I'm gonna have to try that in my oatmeal. So almost like a coconut shred, but it's a carrot shred, right?
I'm sure people have had the carrot raisin salad, right? I'm sure a lot of people have had that. It's not, the natural sugars like you guys suggested are in there, and they come out really profoundly.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So yeah, guys, today you've got quite a few tips on ways that you can cut back on your added sugars and take advantage of the sugars that are naturally present out there. Don't forget to eat the rainbow. I love Jeff's plate today because it's like the perfect example of what we're always talking about, but there's the rainbow right there. And so keep that in mind, especially reminding the youth. And so with that, that's all we have for today's episode of Cooking Connected. But before I let you guys go, I am going to give you that survey code again. We really appreciate the feedback that you guys give us. Again, it helps us continue to do this kind of work and improve as we go. So the program code for the survey is going to be E101832. And again, the survey link and all of that stuff is in the video description box. So check that out, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Cooking Connected. Bye, everybody.